Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming this afternoon and stay with us, and thank you for the liberty to invite us to this great event. I would like to introduce our company. We are a family and mid-cap company, and maybe not well known all over the world. But I would like to share with you, with our partners, with the people who maybe know or don't know, our distribution fulfillment and the strategy that we are applying to become maybe a real fashion business, and I'm going to explain a little bit later. Only to tell you that Parfois, it was established in 1994. It's a Portuguese company and is present now in 70 countries. Our business is a fashion business company with a full concept. We started with accessory, but nowadays we have a full companies. And only to have in mind that we are nearest to 1,000 stores, now concretely 960 points of sales. And we develop it in each campaign, 4,500 SKU. Our catalog is, it's a full concept based on accessories, bags, jewelry, apparels, and shoes. But nowadays, it's quite complete. These are the countries that are present when I started the company, and someone told me that we started in all of these amazing countries. We have a big challenge to make. And it's something that we want to share to you today. This is only to explain how it is look of our stores. And we would like to introduce to you how we are changing our way of thinking of the retail. Here you can see, of course, a traditional, maybe, I don't want to say something bad, but the models of fashion that are started in 2000. With, of course, fashion trends, making samples, making new designs, making everything, manufacturing, suppliers that are very close to you, the logistic, the distribution, the last mile, there are plenty of suppliers today. And for sure, in the 2010, of course, the omnichannel vision is what present in our companies. So, in that moment, we think on to put the customer in the center of the omnichannel vision. And for sure, this is a model that we started doing, and we started before the 2000. But we would like to tell you today that how we are improving our business. Like the point of view of the product and the service that we are applying to not only the customers, but they are for sure looking for that, but our teams, as my company is saying before, the partners, the vendors, the companies, and all the society now today is looking for a company. For sure, our business has to be profitable. If not, you don't have a business. Then the point of view, the sustainability that you are talking today is a point that we are thinking on that for sure. Our stakeholders, the customer, the value appreciation, the employees engagement, all of these stakeholders, the suppliers, the communities, and investors, all of these are present in our model. For sure, my stakeholders need to take this value of this company. And we are trying to create and improve a health and a growth business. So I would like to focus on that model. It is the model that we are working on. We are improving. It's not all over the development. But we would like to share how we can make faster sourcing, how we can make stock efficiency, and how we are thinking on to integrate the fulfillment network in all these omnichannel way of thinking, but doing a little more things that can improve our business. Why? Because we started on fashion, we follow through the ultra fashion area, but now, and with these big suppliers that we already know, the Shein, Inditex, and everything they are fighting, we want to become, in our humid position, in a real-time fashion business, in where the customer, you sell the customer before production. So here are the key points that we want to share that from the product life cycle, from the responsive supply chain, from the smart efficiency and tech-based distribution teams and the way of thinking of doing that, and the way that we see now the fulfillment network, we are trying to improve with the partners, with the teams, with the, for sure, the stakeholders, our model of business. Here, only to explain that in the process cycle, we are applying 3D designs that are very, very quick nowadays, no? Which are extremely fast, efficiency, cost saving, live, samples making, producing. This kind of way of doing the designs that are very, well, I don't want to say newest, but it's something that is happening in Asia. And we are trying in our mid-cap company to try to do that, to be more faster with our teams. Then we are using kind of algorithms that can make possible better bestsellers with a higher success rate. This is an algorithm that creates this product. They are not designed. There are an algorithm that use the previous sales, the previous models to create new ones that is going to becomes bestsellers. So our team is trying, our inside team is doing that with a company, which is a partner, but we are developing these kind of things to try to move faster in the product life cycle. Then, with our suppliers, for sure, we work together with our suppliers, in which we put all our knowledge to try to become this kind of platform suppliers that bring in the cloud these new solutions that can be more. Imagine, if you ask for a production, you can ask for your supplier a small production, you can put the sample or the model on sales, and then if you sell more than the production, becomes more quick to do that in this kind of new model of business. So this is something that with techniques, we are working with the microservices, we are connecting to try to connect our suppliers. For sure, to base it in algorithm, to base it in, imagine, to concentrate the efforts in the suppliers that can be matching with us. So focus on the lead time, the cost, and to try to make faster the production. How we do that? To sharing in clouds this kind of information, the fabric, these kind of things that can be used to reduce the lead times of the production and to connect a small producer to become a bigger producer. So these kind of things, I don't want to say something, but they are doing not only for Parfois, they are doing for the suppliers. So you have to find that ones to connect in all of them. Then, in the part of the distribution, I would like to say that we are very strong in the distribution concept in our company. It's something that for me, when I started in the company and looked at the teams, it was very, very strong way of thinking. The team, based on their acknowledgement and with the use of, with the help of partners, here I would like to show to you two new algorithms that can apply to their way of doing the business. One of them, and I would like to show you, is the sales velocity predictor, which you can apply using this kind of algorithm, the new velocity per SKU and per store to try to build the budget from down to top. So it's something which is quite new. We are on development, we are finishing, but there is some example that using the acknowledge of business, put business intelligence team doing that, you can do things like that. It could be the multi-betting per store algorithm that is you bet for a specific product, for a specific store, and it's for a specific place. So this kind of algorithm make the stock efficiency, and our distribution team are developing, are testing, and is using in the new way of that we think of our business. Why? To improve the distribution, to improve and reduce the stockouts, and do maybe automation process that at the beginning, when this model started, were manual. The other part of, this presentation is to try to connect the product life cycles, the logistic, and the way that we think nowadays the fulfillment network. Is something that for sure have the omnichannel vision. In maybe all of the companies are thinking on that. For sure, 100% integrated on channels, customer. Nowadays, for us, the customer needs to be the owner of stock. But because when you sell some product and you know perfectly how the distribution have to be, and you decide with your OMS how to fulfill your customer, this is more approach to your customer than to you. And we see with the micro hubs and the way that we are doing nowadays the replacement and the logistic, how this concept is more closest to the customer than maybe to your headquarters. So the vision of Omnichannel is something that you maybe know. For us, it's so important, and we are guaranteed today that the lastest unit is selling in e-commerce, because with this way of thinking, your product is more close to the customers. In that sense, we developed the OMS system in which you will decide how you manage your business rules to be more approach to your customer in order to make shorter this approach, the delivery of your orders, and to try to make the stock efficiency and to make profitable doing that. So in that sense, we are developing a proper internal OMS to our business. We use an e-commerce platform. It's a product of the market, but our internal teams are trying to develop these kind of tools that can make your own business more profitable. In that sense, we take it into account all these kind of features for the OMS, and we took into our strategy all this way of do the replacement, in which this is an example for Spain, in which we have the more point of sales, how to pass from 340 point of sales of our stores to only 15 micro hubs, giving the 90% of the coverage, the total coverage of the territory. So mixing all these kind of things, when you think on an omnichannel vision, you think on your customer, you think that the stock have to be with more approach to your customer. The main thing is how to distribute that to be faster, to be shorter, to be more profitable. And all these kind of algorithms, on this kind of distribution and way of thinking, on all these things that you are now developing for your OMS, and this kind of solution, applying with the logistic, with the last mile, with all these things, is the way that nowadays are thinking our business. If you look at our distribution hubs for our company, we are present more or less in Asia, Europe, in Latin America. For sure, we have partners and we have franchises, but only to see which kind of fulfillment the distribution centers we already operate. In the red one, you have the biggest one, which is in China and here in Porto, and it's to fulfill the offline business and the franchises business. And the blue one is to fulfill the online operations. But if you see the lastest micro hubs in our last mile business, you see these things that for sure is something that is very common, but we integrate everything to try to make the lowest movement between the product from the distribution center, from the stores, and to recover it again in all the business. So at that sense, I would like to explain that for us, not only the distribution and logistics is needed. Our business is based from the suppliers and the way that we do the designs to the end of the business, using this kind of technologies approach that make microservices, in which you put all the features together to become a more flexible business. So we asked to our team, to the technology team, to use this kind of way of thinking regarding technology to be faster time to market, to increase of course, the system reliancy, to develop efficiency, to be more scalable, because at the end you want to cover more and more in the same time, and for sure to get a higher performance. So this way of thinking on the microservices not only applies for e-commerce, is only applied for the suppliers, in which at the beginning of our presentation you see that we can connect it in cloud, you can connect everything together. So to make a brief resume, and I would like to show the way that we are thinking on our business, the future business, is to try to be real, very close to customer, very connected, very shorter in all of each stage of our way of doing the things. And how can you do that? For sure, with your internal teams. I agree with my previous speaker that the teams are one of the main things of your company. Secondly, with the partners like you that are coming here for bring us new solutions, new ways of developing our business. And this is the way that we can share how we are thinking, how you can help us, and the way that we can afford a sustainable, healthy, and grow business that is nowadays Parfois, which is, of course, a family company business. But we think that we have in mind always with Manuela, which is our owner, the way that to be all over the world, to try to make a real business in which the people, the teams, the customer is present in our life, and everything enjoy that in every day by day, that the way that we do the things. So the last part of the presentation, I would like to introduce the latest algorithm in which we are working on, that is like a dynamic visual merchandising. All the companies, the retail companies, one of these problems is to adapt the image of their store or the image of the online channel in a way that the customer likes to buy. So you can think on another way that you can do the display, and this is something that is really happening in our stores, that are making a visual merchandising dynamic in which you put your best sellers, in which you adapt the stock that you are having in that store in one day. So it is very dynamic. So I would like to close the idea that from the beginning to the end, you can think on small solutions with the technology, with your teams, with the way that you make and produce the ideas for the distribution, with the help of the suppliers to try to do a better business, more real and more approach to the customer. So to finish my presentation is to try to give you a message that with the help of the partners, we can make and we can think on a business which is a real fashion business. We can compete with the biggest, for sure, industry, giving this I would like to say that when you have a Titanic or you have a boat, you can surf better the waves. So we are in a small boat and we are surfing the wave, and with your help, we are sure that we are getting our objectives very fast. So thank you for coming, and thank you.